Hey guys, how are you?
Thanks for the invite.
Absolutely,
Exactly.
You guys are always welcome.
Well,
Welcome to Marrowstone Vineyards.
I love Marrowstone Vineyards. Well, this is so beautiful here.
Thank you very much.
I can't imagine what it must be like for the summer series of concerts that you're going to have out here.
Yeah, absolutely. So every Saturday night from 5 to 8 p.m. we have live music here. So we encourage you to bring lawn chairs, a picnic. We will have food trucks here as well. You can kind of space out. We'll have the musicians playing against the vineyard, and it's a wonderful way to spend a Saturday evening.
It really is. And I mean, you can see a submarine go by here sometimes too.
That's right. This is actually the narrowest point in the shipping lanes right here. We're looking over across at Woodby Island. That's Bush Point there with the backdrop of the Cascade Mountains.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, since everything starts in the vineyards, why don't you show us what you have here?
Sure, come on down. Let's go down. Let's go take a look.
I just love Marrowstone. It's a beautiful island. The fact that we can get great wine here too, I mean, can't do better than that.
We're very lucky to be here on Marrowstone Island and live in such a picturesque setting. Really thrilled to be here. I mean, this is my office, so I can't beat that. Yeah.
This is the life. Of course, I know you work very hard. A winemaker's job is never done.
That's correct. And when they say owning a winery vineyard is a lifestyle business, it couldn't be more accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A busy lifestyle. All right.
Yeah,
man, these are looking good already. They're all pruned up and everything.
They are. We just got done bud thinning on these. We have 6 different varietals here in this vineyard. We have Cigareba, Madeleine Angevine, Melon de Bourgogne, and Pinot Gris for our whites. And then we have Pinot Noir and Agria for our red varietals. Agria, yeah, it's a Hungarian red. You may know it called bull's blood.
Agria Berkevar.
That's right, yes.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a nice, dense, heavy
It is,
red.
Absolutely. So we do use it for blending for some things. But yeah, it's really nice on its own as well. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, so what is this?
So these are Cigareba right here. Cigareba probably does the best because it's the earliest ripener. And that's one thing we struggle with being on the east side of an island here in the Pacific Northwest is we don't have that heat index going into fall. So luckily this is an early ripener. So it harvests earlier and we are able to get our sugars where we need to be for a good harvest out of this. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, these vines look like they've been here about 8-10 years?
Correct, yes. So they're about 10 years old. And, you know, it's not like growing on the other side of the state. This is a much more mild climate.
It's the maritime AVA, and so it doesn't
correct.
get hot.
No, it does not. It does not. But all this being said, when we do get a harvest out of here, the wines are very unique, great minerality due to our terroir and our glacial till soil. So, I mean, we have rocks in there, and that all puts off great minerality to these vines.
I love that. And so you probably have low enough yields to pick up that terroir.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I look forward to getting harvest and producing our estate grown product. Yeah,
that's nice.
So.
But you also have reserved parts of vineyards on the east side.
East side, correct. Yeah. So that's primarily where we get our fruit. I could never suffice running my business just on what we harvest out of this vineyard. So I produce about 2,000 to 2,200 cases of wine a year, and the majority of that comes from the east side of the state. I work with some great vineyards over there: Yakima Valley, Natchez Heights, down into Red Mountain area, Benton City. And so yeah, I did about 6,000 miles on the road last year, trucking fruit back here to make wine, and that's my passion.
Out the vines. I know that you take care of every little detail.
We do. You know, I'll periodically go throughout the summer and check on the vines through the growing season, talk with the growers out there, and really for me, it's all about harvest timing. I want to retain acids, but get to that ripeness that I like for my wine. So I'm constantly tasting the fruit when I'm out there, and really looking for that right time to harvest. Then we bring them back here, and then we make the wine, and we bottle, label everything right here on site.
Well, why don't you show us where that magic happens?
Sure, come on up.
This says Malbec. I love Malbec.
It does. So yeah, we just bottled half of our red for the 2019 vintage, Malbec being one of them. This Malbec actually came from the Sugarloaf Vineyard down in Rattlesnake Hills.
Vineyard. Everybody knows that one.
Absolutely, yeah. So Sugarloaf and Elephant Mountain, I get quite a bit of my red fruit from there. Again, in our Cab Franc, we just bottled that as well, which can't wait. It's one of our best sellers every year, one of my favorite varietals.
Well, not everybody can do a Cab Franc right. I mean, a lot of them are kind of skinny, but I've had yours before. I really like it.
I still call it a medium body, yet it's just full of flavor. And this will actually be the first vintage from Elephant Mountain, and it's a lot bigger of a wine than Cab Francs that I produced in the past. So a lot more tannin structure. Yeah, it's pretty exciting to get that one.
What year was that again?
It's a 2019 vintage, so we just bottled. We probably won't release it until November or December coming into the holiday season. So yeah.
Well,
I'll put that on my Christmas.
Perfect. Great idea.
Let's head on into the
Sounds
winery.
good. Come on in.
Well, these are beautiful looking barrels because they're full. Tell us about what them. The PS, I imagine, means Petite Sirah?
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, this is Petite Sirah. This comes from Lonesome Springs Vineyard down near Benton City, right at the base of Red Mountain.
Yeah.
This is also one of my better sellers every year. People really love this, and I'll let you in on a little secret. Petite Sirah a lot of times can be very jaw-ripping. It can be a big, bold wine, which is great, but I feel like it needs a little lift, so I actually co-ferment in about 6 to 8% Viognier with this.
Ooh, like a co-roti with Syrah.
Correct, absolutely.
Oh,
but I do it with the Petite Sirah, and that gives it a nice little lift, and it's just a wonderful wine. So, so what I do is, as far as my barrel program goes, I primarily use French oak, but I'll use different types of French oak and maybe a once used, a new, and a neutral. And what I'll do when I rack, when I pull all the wine out for my natural fining process, because all my wines are minimal intervention. Yes, I don't fine, I don't filter my red wines. So I'll blend all those different oak profiles together, giving the wine just some different oak nuances.
Now that's a nuance that hard to come by.
Yeah.
You have a hell of a palate. So.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. So that's kind of our mentality behind the barrels
I love
that we use.
the low intervention, because so many of the wines that are in the $10 to $15 range in the market are basically done halfway in the lab, acidity, sugar, everything's
correct,
altered and played with.
Well, like I said earlier, it really comes down to me harvest timing, trying to retain those acids, because I don't acidify these at all either. So that's kind of my mentality. I want to taste that fruit. I want to taste the terroir. I want it to have that sense of place when we put it in the bottle. So yeah.
And natural fining takes longer, so if time is money, it's more expensive to do it that way, but I like your results.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah.
Of course, I'll have to check it again.
Of course, we will get to that. Absolutely, absolutely. So,
in fact,
How many barrels of Petite Sirah do you have?
Well, for this vintage, we're only doing 100 cases, so it translates to about 2 tons of fruit for this Petite Sirah. And I do smaller lots of more varietals. I found that over the years that people really like variety in wine, so I do quite a bit of different types of wines. So yeah.
Notice you have Grenache written on some of these barrels.
We do.
I love Grenache. But have you done Grenache before?
We did. Grenache was part of our last wine club allotment for the fall, and it was so well received. People really enjoy those lighter bodies. Although this says Grenache this year, I'll let you in on a little secret. We're actually going to blend that. We're doing our first GSM this year.
All right.
Which the profiles turned out amazing. I can't wait to get it in bottle this next week and see what the final result will be.
I'm excited too. Grenache Shiraz Mourvèdre. We're talking Rhone in America.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Like it.
Absolutely.
Well, maybe we should try some of the stuff in the glass.
I think we should go do some tastings.
Right.
Let's do it.
Let's go, guys. This is my favorite part, I have to admit. I absolutely love tasting. So what are we going to start with?
Well, first of all, this is where all the hard work ends up, right here in the bottle. And I think it needs to be said that there's so much that goes into our end result and what goes in the glass. And this is also one of my favorite parts, where I get to share this with the consumer and let them know my passion and kind of my thoughts behind wine. So we're going to taste 5 wines today if you're up for it.
I'm up for it.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to start.
That's kind of nice that you could taste with your customers, because that way they can ask questions and you can go, oh, this nuance, oh, that's apricot.
Sure, absolutely.
That we picked up from,
And you know, I get a lot of feedback from customers as well. Everybody's palate is different, so
Yes.
you know, they may say something that I don't taste, and it's nice to add that to the repertoire of flavors that people are tasting. So we're going to start with my white Rhone blend. It's 40% Viognier, 40% Roussanne, and 20% Marsanne. So kind of an interesting blend, you bet. So.
And those are some of my favorite grapes, especially the Marsanne and the Roussanne.
I would love to do an orange Marsanne wine at some point.
Ooh.
Yeah, just to give that a shot.
So that's basically fermented on the skins.
Correct.
So some people call it a natural wine, but natural is a word that can be applied to just about anything.
Well, natural wines just indicate that it's a natural fermentation, and yeah.
Oh, nice. No. Oh.
Thank you very much.
We're talking pear bomb, apricot. Wow. Oh my God. Beautiful acidity. That's where some people fail on this kind of blend. It's beautiful.
Absolutely, has to be a bright wine.
Complex, long finish going on and on.
Still going on.
Yeah. I have to tell you, this is beautiful. I love this wine.
Thank you so much. It's our first attempt at a Rhone blend. You know, we usually do single varietal whites, and it was fun to play around with these blends. Quite fun.
It came out in the final product.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
I can't believe this is your first white blend for rum. Didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries.
So I'm pretty excited about this. We actually have not released this next wine. This is our wine club wine. So we're having a big wine club event here the next 2 weekends, and this is part of the release. So you guys get kind of a sneak peek at this one.
I love it. And Mourvedre is my favorite grape right now. I mean, I love it in Jumilla. I love it in Italy, and it's Matteo. I love it in just about every form and shape.
Wonderful.
But I can't remember the last time I had a rosé of Mourvedre.
Yeah, it's a nice bright French style rosé. Some really great strawberry flavors in there. And like you said, Mourvedre is such an interesting, great varietal, and I can't wait to work more with it. Hence our GSM that's coming out next fall.
So how long is this on the skins?
You know, we did about 16 hours on the skins with this one. I was trying to go for a bit lighter. We'd also make a rosé of Pinot Gris, which you can tell the color difference here. This is only a matter of about eight hours difference in color, and you can see how much darker the rosé of Pinot Gris is. So
It's amazing how the differences make it. I imagine it's a little meatier.
it's crisp as well, but yeah, a bit more phenolics to
Of
it.
course, we're comparing apples and oranges.
That's correct. Yeah, correct.
I love this. The acidity is delicate. It's got strawberries, but nothing slaps you in the face. It's also well integrated. This is a beautiful wine.
We really go for balance in our whites for sure. We want them to be bright, but yeah, you want to get those big flavors to them as well.
Great
So
summer wine.
absolutely.
Something to
Hence the next 2 weekends for Wine Club. It's going to be fun. I hope people receive it well.
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind. I think you're going to be sold out these next 2 weekends.
Well, you guys ready to move on to some reds?
I love
Okay.
the finish on that. It doesn't show up till the last little bit, and it's got almost kind of a buttery raspberry. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and you know, honestly, I played around with the different temperatures of this. It might be a bit too chilled right now. I found that it actually looks a little better at a little bit warmer temperature. Maybe
Almost
20.
wines too.
Yeah, maybe 20 minutes in the fridge, and this rosé is good to go. So, well, we're going to move on to our cab.
And you're known for your cab.
Yes, this cab is wonderful. So it's not going to be a huge, bold cab. I would call it more of an elegant cab. This comes from Lonesome Springs Vineyard as well.
Beautiful color.
Isn't that nice?
Ready.
You know, I had your wine at the old timber house. And what blew me away, I saw Marrowstone. There's I can't think of the name of the winery, but it's...
Clodagh.
No, it's not Clodagh. No, it's right off the 12 going towards St. Francis. The guys tried growing hops there, didn't work out, and then they put vines in and produced them. When I saw Marrowstone in cab, I ordered a bottle. They poured the bottle, I tasted it, and I went, I was back in Sonoma County. But all being said, I turned the bottle over. I didn't recognize the bottle. I turned the bottle over and it said Marrowstone Island. And I go, hey, this guy's is my neighbor.
And that was the beginning of a great story.
Yeah, great product you put out.
Well, thank you so
This
much.
is beautiful, and you're right. It's elegant. It's
Yes.
not massive. You don't pull
Yep.
splinters out of your teeth.
Correct.
It's beautiful.
I want the oak to just be a picture frame around the picture.
Exactly.
I'm not looking to drink a cab or a bigger wine, and that's all I taste is that new French oak. So, like I said, we just put a smattering of oak in there, and hopefully it balances out perfectly.
Well, it does.
So-
It does, because I feel the same. When you drink wine, you should be tasting the grape, not the wood.
Absolutely. And going back to that terroir and fruit, that's what I want to taste. I want to give it that sense of place.
I remember back in the 80s and 90s, winemakers were all about putting their stamp on a wine, and you could taste your wine and know that Jed still made it. Well, it's the vineyard that should be speaking.
That's
and
right.
you allow it to.
Absolutely.
You just enhance what's there and put it together beautifully. You don't stamp your personality on it, and I say, here's to you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Now, let's have more.
Let's do it. Here we go.
This is such a beautiful label.
It is a beautiful label. We'll talk a little bit about that. First, about the wine. This is 47% Cabernet Sauvignon, 24% Merlot, and I went really heavy on Petit Verdot for a nice, beautiful color and a little bit of tannin, extra tannins in there. It's 24% Petit Verdot.
That's huge.
Yes. Then we got 3% Malbec, 2% Cab Franc. So it's a Bordeaux blend. And as for the label, this is year 2 of 3 years of art labels we're doing with Milo Redwood, who we have his works of art displayed here in our winery, and we're so happy to have him here for the season. So yeah, next year will be year 3 and our final year of art labels with Milo. So it's been a lot of fun to integrate our wines with his art. It's been pretty special.
It never surprises me.
Like I said, I want elegance in my wines. I want them to be able to be consumed at a younger age. So that was a good one, huh?
What can I say?
Yeah.
Trickle down the wrong.
Yes, it happens. It happens.
No Clovic here, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that is gorgeous. Absolutely. And the color? I was afraid all that Petit Verdot might pop it out of balance, but I should have known. You did it beautifully.
Well, thank
and the
you.
color, and Petit Verdot is known for having violets in the nose.
That's right.
And I actually picked up some
That's what I
violets.
love about this wine. You get that floral in the nose, but then you get the fruit on the palate. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's really nice. And it's funny when you're doing blends. It's amazing what 3% of Malbec will do to a wine, or 2% more Cab Franc. Even those small percentages can change the nuances of the wine, which is kind of cool to play with. So
Well, it just means you have to have one heck of a palate to be able to do that blending.
it's a long day of work, I'll tell you. Yeah.
Yeah, got to roll yourself home.
Right. Yeah.
Does the word master blender come to mind?
Well, his face comes up in my mind when you say that, as you are good.
Well, I appreciate that.
Oh, this is beautiful. Do you have any of this available left for your customers?
We do, yes. We're getting very low. We're down to about 20 cases left. With the art and the wine, it was a wine club wine last fall, and we're running down to the tail end of it. We produced about 150 cases of that wine. So, yeah.
Nice.
So lastly, we're going to move on to the Petit Syrah. So like I said, I do that little co-fermentation with a bit of Viognier to this to give it that nice lift. This is really drinking well, coming into its own right now for sure. It's a 2018. It's wonderful. And I will continue to do this wine for as long as I'm making wine because it's one of my favorites.
It comes out on the product. It really does. I don't know if you've noticed, every time I come, which is probably every week right now.
It is every weekend, yeah, let's be honest. Yeah.
We are fans.
Yes.
That's the bottle, the first wine we have.
Yeah.
We'll
No.
either go to Milo or something else, but
Right.
I expected that to be bigger, but the key word for you is elegance.
That's right.
And balance. This is a beautifully
And these are all stylistic choices of a winemaker, and you know, every wine in its right place. But this is just my stylistic choices. That's the wine that I enjoy to consume. So that's the style that I'll make my wines.
Well, then we have similar tastes.
Okay, good.
I love this wine. And you have a lot of this left?
We have probably about 35 cases left, I believe. But we are bottling the next vintage this week, so that'll be available coming.
That's what we saw in the barrels?
It is, yes.
Nice.
Yes. So, yeah.
This is absolutely beautiful. I love your wines.
Well,
I'm just so happy that
thank
you
you,
allowed
Eric.
us to come here and show who you are.
Hey, I'm happy for you guys to be here. Thank you for coming back and spending some time here. It's enjoyable to have you. So, yeah.
Well, here's to good wine and good winemakers.
Cheers. Okay, here we go. We have my 2019 Cab Franc, just finished ML, which is malolactic fermentation. I got this fruit from Elephant Mountain Vineyard in Wapato. Just an absolutely stunningly beautiful site, and they really know what they're doing there. They are great at what they do, so the fruit is beautiful. And anyway, we're going to take a little barrel sample. You can see this is a wine in process, actually. Here you go, Eric. Jeff, you want to bring
Oh, that's a beautiful color. I mean, we're talking purple plum.
And I tasted this yesterday, and it's very varietally correct, which I really enjoy. Cab Franc.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That color.
Well, I tell you, I'm in love with the color. But the nose, it is varietally correct in the nose.
You got to imagine too. You know, this has a lot of life left in the barrel. It's going to age considerably,
Right.
And those flavors in that nose are just going to develop over time. So, wow, you can tell the submarines and such come through here.
I have to say, the hallmark of your wines that I've tasted, elegance. Elegance and good balance.
That's what we're looking for. We're looking for elegance. We want a wine that is consumable at a younger age. Most people that come through our tasting room, we're having this for dinner. What can that wine pair with? And so we want to be there for those people and not necessarily have to cellar it for 5 years before
Right.
Drinking it. Although our wines do age beautifully.
With the acidity, I can imagine they'd age well.
Yeah.
This is where great wine starts, in the vineyard. The coastal appellation in Washington State is difficult to grow grapes as well as, say, in California or in Walla Walla. I mean, these vines are 9 to 10 years old. They're not quite as big, but they struggle for every ounce of flavor. It seems like the harder it is for a vine to grow, the better the wine comes out in the end. Making sure that you get small yields, take care of the grapes. All year they grow, then they work their way into the fermentation vats and such. By having control over every bit of the process, James produces an extraordinary wine.